fans, it's once again time for the traditional singing of Back Home Again in Indiana. And once again, it is my privilege to introduce to you Mr. Jim Neighbors. Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new moon through the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
As the traditional balloons
If it's Friday, it means it's May, and May means Indy. It's the Freedom 100, brought to you by Turn 2 Racing. Welcome, race fans. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Johnny Rapp here in the Slingshot TV booth. And tonight, we are coming to you live from the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Indy isn't just a track. It's the centerpiece of American open-wheel racing. Founded back in 1905 by Carl Fisher and his partners, the goal was to create a massive proving ground for the auto industry. By 1909, they had laid 3 million paver bricks, giving birth to the Brickyard, and the most famous 2.5-mile rectangle in the world. For over a century, this place has defined careers. It's where A.J. Foyt, Rick Mears, and Al Unser Sr. became icons by winning 4 times. It's where the Andretti name became synonymous with speed, and the Borg-Warner Trophy became the ultimate prize. Tonight's race carries a unique weight, though. For many of these drivers on the grid, this isn't just another league night. It's a final foray before the real world takes over. Many of these competitors are real-world IndyCar crew members who are packing their bags and headed to 16th in Georgetown later this week. With the month of May officially here, their lives are about to become a blur of 18-hour days, technical inspections, and high-pressure pit stops. In Indy, we don't kiss the bricks, we drink the milk. That tradition started back in 1933 when Louis Meyer requested a cold glass of, get this, buttermilk to quench his thirst after a 500 grueling miles. Tonight, the winner joins that lineage. But there's a more immediate reward on the line, nearly $450 cold hard cash for the driver who can conquer the yard of bricks. Chris, in case you did not know, and folks watching at home too, Indianapolis Motor Speedway has actually served as a test track for automotive innovations for companies like General Motors, including the first ever passenger car airbag back in 1971. Drivers are going to be looking to innovate in their own way out on the track tonight because every inch of every corner entry matters here at Indy. Miss one, say goodbye to your spot in line. What are these drivers going to have to do to achieve perfection tonight and make it into victory lane to sip that virtual milk, Chris?
Well, they're going to have to get after it quick and in a hurry tonight, Ellis. Just 40 laps here around the 2.5-mile famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway means that you got to get after it, and you got to get after it at the drop of the green flag. Very short race tonight, but a lot on the line for these drivers. So we're going to see drivers pushing the envelope right from the drop of the green flag. We think they got about 44 laps of a tank of fuel as well, so fuel's not going to be an issue tonight. But what will be an issue is trying to survive a minefield of race cars that's going to be packed together very, very closely.
Right now, they're working on qualifying. 4-lap average is going to be where these drivers line up in the field. 30 drivers going to qualify on time. They'll take the top 30, and then we'll have a last chance qualifier race to determine the final 3 starting spots on that last row number 11. Folks, it is going to be an absolutely wild night. If you are watching at home, we appreciate you joining in right now. We got some folks already joining in the chat. We got John Rapp. We got Yells. Julie, mother-in-law. Hi, Moki. We got Sean Signori, another Slingshot host, tuning in tonight. He says he didn't get the invite, lost in the mail or something. Sean, we decided we would give you the night off after working 2 nights in a row. Folks, keep those comments coming. You can actually win an Alex Pillow diecast in the chat tonight. Get those comments in the chat. We're going to choose one lucky winner before this thing is over to give that Alex Pillow diecast to. And hey, you might get to see the real thing tonight on the track. That leads us into the stories that we are going to talk about tonight. Plenty of stories, Chris, that we here in the booth and the fans at home can take a look at and keep the eye on over the course of the race. First race, you already mentioned it, short race, 40 laps. How intense is it going to be? And are drivers going to race probably more aggressively than they would in a much longer Indianapolis 500?
Yeah, they're going to be a lot more aggressive. And you know, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about some of the aero differences between this car and the Indy car that you're going to see run in the Indy 500. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of aggression early, and I think it just means how important this qualifying run is. This 4-lap average around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is very, very critical to maintaining that track position and hopefully keeping yourself out of the chaos that we'll probably see happening in the middle of the pack. So short race, you're going to have to get after it very, very quickly, Ellis.
4 corners here at Indy. They're going to be hitting them at about 46 seconds every 4 corners for a 46-second lap, but that includes a lot of opportunities to miss your mark, Chris. Why is precision so important here at Indianapolis with speeds over 180 miles an hour?
Yeah, precision, very important. This is probably one of the most line-sensitive ovals that you'll see any race car at. I would say probably for these cars, it's lesser of an issue than it is for the IndyCar and even for NASCAR stock cars around the oval, because their speeds are a little bit down and, you know, in relation to their weight and downforce. But it's still critical to be as precise as you can around here. These long straightaways might lull you into a false sense of security, and when you get down to these flat, sharp corners that are on each end of the speedway, you have to hit your marks, and you got to hit them every single time, because it can be the difference between tenths of a second, and that really adds up around this racetrack.
Speaking of adding up, drivers going to be doing the math in their head, the strategy work being done moment by moment. You got to be strategic with your passes here at Indy. You can't just pass anywhere. You don't want to be on that outside line headed down into turn 1, Chris, where you can see things go bad very quickly. Remember a iconic Indy 500 moment with Takuma Sato on the outside did not go well. Drivers got to be careful, Chris.
Yeah, they definitely do. They got to be very, very careful. And yeah, they're going to have to be extremely, extremely careful all night tonight with those passes. We'll see a lot of pack racing tonight. And there's going to be a lot on the line for these drivers.
Big money, $450 cash on the line. It's a game changer. That is more than a few tanks of gas these days. We're going to talk about those stories, and we're going to watch this LCQ. But first, folks, you know what time it is. It's everyone's favorite pre-race tradition here at Slingshot TV. Go ahead and rise and remove those caps, if able, for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be right back. You are looking live at the starting grid here. Last chance qualifier getting ready to get underway before the big Freedom 100. 3 of these 22 drivers are going to have a shot to race their way in over the course of 7 laps to get their way into that main feature, the 40-lap Freedom 100, where $450 cash is on the line. We appreciate you tuning in. This is going to be an awesome night. It indeed is May. Pots on pots on pots on pots. I agree with that 100%. Let's go ahead, take a look at this starting lineup for the last chance qualifier here for the Freedom 100. Of course, on the pole, 31st qualifier on speed, CJ Harden, and that number 15 black and green machine. He starts from the pole. Chris Nash, number 26, going to be bringing it up second tonight outside of row number 1. Third's going to be Peter Drummond in the 18. Fourth, Andrew Moreau in the number 23 machine outside of row 2. John Balin, number 47. He's got to come from the inside of row 3 from 5th position if he's going to race his way into the top 3 finishers to race their way into the Freedom 100. Matt Plaben, number 9, starts 6th tonight. Former winner of the Freedom 100, Zachary Meredith, starting 7th tonight. He's got a little work cut out for him if he's going to get into the top 3 and that feature. Jimmy Moore, host of Undercut and Overheard podcast, starting 8th in that number 12 machine. 9th place is going to be 21st, Chance Pojecki in the number 21 machine. Victor Higgins in the 19 starts to his outside.
Austin Pitt in that number 49. He's going to roll off from the 11th position. On his outside, you got Broderick Larson in that number 53. Starting on the inside of row number 7, we got Matt Franson in the 25. And on his outside, Justin Wills. These drivers are going to have to come through some traffic to get up to the front of this thing. Starting on the inside of row number 8. On the inside of row number 8, we got Jerem O'Shea in the 55. And Johnny Rapp will not be rolling off from the outside of row 8. Neither will Christopher Smith. Yeah, in row 10, you got Jason Bowles and Nathan Gentry, one of those Slingshot Racing League regular drivers. He's going to be starting 20th. And on the final row, Ellis, we've got Steve Vest, one of our favorite drivers, and Stephen Perro is going to be rolling off 22nd, shotgun on the field.
18, 19, count them, drivers on the grid tonight, working their way through the final corners here. Only 3 will advance to the Freedom 100 just 15 minutes or less from now. This is a 7-lap shootout. You gotta go, and you gotta go fast. Pace car getting ready to make that iconic left-hand turn down pit road. Drivers are about to fan out for the first of many laps. It's gonna be Harden and Nash. That's your front row. They wait for the green flag to drop, and they see it. We're underway in the last chance qualifier. Harden and Nash get away quickly, but we're already 3 wide, just a little bit further back through the pack. Peter Drummond drops to the inside down in turn 1. He's got Andrew Moreau to his outside.
Yeah, 2x2 all the way back from the 3rd spot on back. Drivers looking for position here, knowing this is the best chance. Oh, the leader!
Big trouble, 1 car in the wall. Everyone somehow misses them. The yellow flag is going to come out, but several cars averted crisis. Big contact down the backstretch for the first time tonight. Trouble. Caution is out.
Yeah, and we saw all the way up at the front of this thing. We'll go back to see what happened with the crash, but you saw our leader, Chris Nash. I thought he was going around entering turn number 1. He was actually entering turn 2. Yeah, he was very, very loose. And this is looking at Zachary Meredith right here in that number 36 car. Oh, yeah, he went to the inside right there, Ellis, and it just seemed like that car got loose on him. Maybe a stack up ahead of him right here caused him to get on the binders. Car spun back to the right there. He's going to collect another car, unfortunately, in the process.
Multiple cars are collected in this. Of course, it could have been much worse. No driver wants to go out on lap 1. But the good news for these drivers, as far as we know, they have 2 quick repairs in this last chance qualifier race, we believe. And boy, and I need a little bit of Dramamine after that view, Johnny.
Yeah, and I just want to confirm really, really quickly that that car that, it looks like, the car that collected the 36 of Zachary Mitchell was Nathan Gentry. So unfortunately, Nathan got caught up in that first lap crash right there. But yeah, Ellis, as you mentioned, they do have the ability to use one of their quick repairs and get back out here and get back after it.
Getting after it in the chat, we got Infry 5951 marked present for tonight. We got yells and my mother-in-law Julie talking about our cat's birthday. It is Bean's birthday. Happy birthday, Beans. May 1st, always a good day. Folks, don't forget you can get those comments in the chat and you can win that Alex Palou diecast. We think he might be racing tonight. We don't want to say anything though until we can confirm in that main event here just a little bit from now. But we're going to choose one lucky winner to win that Palou diecast before the end of the race. Keep those comments coming, folks. Right now, the field is pacing around. We want to know in the chat, who are you rooting for? Okay, who are you here supporting? Who are you rooting for tonight in this Freedom 100? Of course, we're working this 10-lap last chance qualifier as the drivers work their way across the line. Just looking at timing and scoring. Doing a little bit of updating here based on where these drivers have come out. Is it looking like Meredith is still being shown the leaders at cycling through with DJ Harden back in the lead now, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think I'll have to verify that this is true, but I think that they are not counting caution laps in this LCQ, which that's a big break for a lot of these drivers, Ellis, who started at the back of this field. If caution laps were being counted right here, this would really hurt their chances of advancing forward, and they've got to get to one of those top 3 positions if they want a chance to race in the main event.
Yeah, that is the good news for them. The laps are not clicking away yet. Chat's clicking away. We got a couple folks saying they want that Alex Palou diecast. Ernie Francis Jr., Luke Barkley in here wanting that. N8M863 wanting the Palou diecast. Miga Smythe in here as well, folks. Single file pacing right now, but we are about to get back underway just about a lap and a half from now. Of course, these drivers trying to race their way into the last chance qualifier. It is May, meaning it is Indy month. Chris, one of my favorite months for motorsports, if not my favorite month of motorsports, particularly that Memorial Day weekend with the Monaco Grand Prix. Is the Monaco Grand Prix still this weekend or the Memorial Day weekend, or have we since changed that? It seems to go back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think it lines up the same way because I know that there is a conflict now with I'm pretty sure that's why Colton Herta can't race in the Indianapolis 500 because I think that there's now a conflict, and I don't think it works. It lines up the same way as it once did, which is super unfortunate, for us as some selfish race fans. That want to have 3 of the most iconic races on the same day, but it's still a great day of racing. No matter, it's like you said, it is probably one of my favorite ones as well.
It is a great day. These drivers just doing everything they can to kind of contain their excitement. We had a little bit of excitement on lap 1, 7th, 8th place in the field. Zachary Meredith, former winner. Just to talk about winners real quick, you can see the former winners on the bottom hand of your screen. Of course, Zachary Meredith, one of those. We've got DeLusso, who'll be in the main event as well. Scott McLaughlin won one of those. I don't think he's here tonight, but hey, we'll be keeping our eyes out for some real-life drivers over the course of the evening. $450 on the line later on this evening. These drivers, of course, trying to work their way in to tonight. No easy task at Indianapolis. You got to hit all 4 corners, and you have to hit them with precision. Lose your rhythm, lose your spot is the name of the game. CJ Harden played that restart perfectly just a few moments ago with Chris Nash. They're going to look to do a double take and do an encore performance of that restart here in just a moment. Peter Drummond, Andrew Moreau, they're going to have something to say about it. We are getting ready to get back underway here at Indianapolis. Single file restart has been declared. CJ Harden, Chris Nash, they get going a couple cars further back. One green car, I believe Steven Piero tried to dash through the field madly. He's going to get the black flag for that one. Hey, you got to respect the effort there. But right now up front, it's CJ Harden leading. Chris Nash, Peter Drummond. Battle for 3rd position between him and Andrew Moreau.
Sideways.
One car launched into the air. That is Steven Piero and Chance Pubjecki a little bit further back. It's going to put us under the 2nd caution flag tonight. We are tearing up some sheet metal here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Chance Pubjecki right there got a little bit high, I think, entering turn 2, way up in the loose stuff. He fought it for a while. He actually had one heck of a save, Ellis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back and see what we're watching. Steven Piero right here approaching the accident scene. You can see Chance sideways up ahead of him right there. He had gotten it straightened out right there, and unfortunately Steven, when he straightened it out, just had nowhere to go. Launched the nose of that GoDaddy machine up above that number 21 that was sideways. Go back right here to see if we can get another look at it right here. Man, he fought that thing sideways through turn 2. Look how high up on the track he is, Ellis. That goes to what we were talking about before about how you have to be precise here at Indianapolis. Have to hit your marks every single corner right there. Chance got a little bit high right there, and unfortunately, Steven just had nowhere to go once he straightened it back up and into the back and over the rear wing of the 21.
It just all happened so quickly, and of course, things went from bad to worse for Steven Piero. He looked like Superman there for a moment coming through the field, but that was a restart violation, which is what put him in that position to begin with. He was going to be coming to pit road, I would imagine, any lap, and oh boy, cover your eyes, children. Yeah. Parents, escort your children out of the room before this view hits. Oh my goodness. Boy, I don't know if there's an airport anywhere around here, but that thing took off like it was on a runway there, Chris. We're lucky that thing didn't get even more airborne than it did as we ride on board for that slow-mo view. Brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Crazy start, hectic started here. We thought it was going to be about 15 minutes until we got to this main event, the Freedom 100, of course. This is only the appetizer, folks. These drivers trying to get their way in, race their way in. Top 3 finishers in this last chance qualifier will grid their way into the final 3 starting spots of our hearts for the Freedom 100 here. Pace car, I believe, has crossed the start-finish line, and lights appear to still be flashing. Folks, it is a big night, lots of money on the line. Let us know who you are rooting for in the chat right now. I got some folks chiming in. Ernie Francis has been here showing some love to some of these drivers. Also, looks like there's a little bromance going on in the chat between Luke Berkeley and Ernie Francis Jr. They had a little bit of lunch today. Piero won the prelude to the Freedom last week, it sounds like. We're receiving intel in the chat. Ernie, you got to pay for Luke Berkeley's lunch now. Come on, man. Come on. You take someone out for lunch, you got to pay for it. Curious where y'all went to lunch as we watched Steven Piero work his way down that access road after coming down pit road. It looks like he's driving a whole new car, Chris. The quick repair is a miracle.
How about that? Man, that is one heck of a pit crew. Yeah, no, the quick repair definitely is going to help him out right here, get back on the track. And he's definitely still in this thing, Ellis, as you mentioned, still showing 9 laps to go. So a lot of opportunities for drivers to make their way up through this field right here, and a lot more opportunities to tear some more stuff up as we've been doing here in the opening couple of laps.
Hey, these guys got to get it out of their system now before they head to Indy for the month of May. So many of these drivers, of course, mechanics on IndyCar pit crews, including Penske, Ganassi among those. Of course, we're giving away that Alex Palou diecast in the chat tonight. Make sure you get those comments in. Lots of first-time chatters being welcomed in the chat tonight. We appreciate everyone who is tuning in, letting us know, of course, who they are rooting for. We got Gavin in here, Yell, Sean Rapp, Julie, Sean Signori, Pots on Pots on Pots, in Fry. So many of y'all. Ernie Francis, Luke Berkeley, N8M863. The list keeps going. Right now, pace lights are off, Chris. These drivers pulling those belts tight one more time. It's going to be, I believe, an 8-lap shootout. We've gotten 2 laps in here. Hoping to get more. I believe we're going to go single file again, if I'm seeing things correctly, as these drivers work their way down the final corners here. What are you telling your driver, Chris? If you are on top of that pit box, what are you telling your drivers as they get ready for these final 8 laps to get into this Freedom 100?
Well, first things first, let's just survive the restart. As you saw on that last one, it can get a little crazy on these single-file restarts. Everybody anticipating what's up ahead, and especially on these ovals, Ellis, that have the straightaways. I know that sounds kind of strange to say that, but there's no curve in the front stretch, and so it's a little bit hard to see up ahead. So First off, let's survive the stack-ups on the restart. And then second, let's just try to get through this opening lap right here without, the car stepping sideways, car stepping loose, because we've seen some cars out of shape right here on the only laps that we've seen them in green flag conditions.
Well, we're about to see some more laps under green flag conditions, and it's going to be led by a green car, CJ Hart, and he's led wire to wire. Of course, that's only been 2 laps, but we're going to set for lap 3. Several cars try to jump the restart, of course. Desperate throws here just to get up to the front. That one car on the inside, I believe, is Zachary Meredith. Chris, he is going to see the black flag here for a restart violation. CJ Harden, Chris Nash, Peter Truman, they all get away very quickly, but this battle around 6th position right now, Matt Cleveland, Jimmy Moore heats up Moore down to the inside, and that number 12 machine makes a push to turn 3, Chris.
Yeah, Jimmy Moore looking to the inside right here. They're almost 3 wide. They get it straightened back out right here. Looks like Moore wants more. He's trying to get John Balin right here, possibly on his outside, and he's got help from behind right there. That's Matt Cleveland lined up behind him in that number 9 machine.
And look at the run. Moore and Cleveland are going to get down the front stretch. The closing rate is immense. 200 miles an hour, 3 wide behind them. That's Victor Higgins, John Balin, and Zach Meredith. Big moments there. Drivers on the outside. They got to be careful. Down into turns 1 and 2. Drivers within 0.5 of a second of each other. Throw a blanket over them. It'll cover all of them as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, Victor Higgins is going to clear all of that melee back behind him. John Balin on the outside. Zachary Meredith trying to come back up through the field after his misfortune early on right here. Pack racing going on into turn 3, Ellis. We thought this might be the case tonight with these IndyNXT machines.
Oh, this is going to be a wild one as drivers try to say thank you next as they make the pass. One car, Cleveland, hard into the wall. 2 cars collide, 3 cars, 1 car over the pit wall on its lid. My goodness, someone get the safety crew down there to check on that driver who I believe was
John Balin. That was John Balin, yeah.
John Balin, are you okay after that lap 4? I don't even know what to call that other than absolute carnage. Chris, let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, that one was carnage. Yeah, we'll watch John for sure because he went, there's Jimmy Moore into the wall. We'll see what touched all that off here in just a second, but look at that thing. Pirouettes through the air, barrel rolling onto pit road. Look out to all the pit crews right here. Make sure all the tires are away from the wall right there. And there's another car that is up on its roof right there. Or roof, there are no roofs. It's easy for me to say. That's the number 21 of Chance Pobjecki. He was also the second car that I saw going for one heck of a ride down the front stretch. He kind of turned end over end as well. We'll go back for another view of this. There's Jimmy Moore, and we know that the contact is going to start around him. And it looks like, maybe a little bit of help from behind right there. Got turned sideways into the outside wall. Look at that thing go up in the air. Drivers trying to avoid him, Ellis, but it's just so hard to do here. It's so hard to avoid the catastrophe, and I hate to laugh at somebody's misfortune, but that is one crazy, crazy crash, and there's Chance going end over end.
I give that pirouette, as the kids say, Chris, maybe a 6 or a 7.
We had to find a way to get it into the broadcast.
We were going to get it in. Sean and I, that's our little game on Friday nights, or I should say Thursday nights. Chris, I got a joke for you. And fans, I got a joke for you in the chat. We don't have Connor here tonight, Chris. Someone's got to pick up the slack. I don't know. Maybe didn't know. We told him last night we were going to be in here. Got a joke for you. Fans at home, let us know if you know the answer to this one. Why did the brick go to therapy? Why did the brick go to therapy? I'll let you
I'm going to need to go to therapy if I keep on watching this onboard right here from Chance Pobjecki.
Johnny,
my gosh.
Producer Johnny is trying to emotionally traumatize us. This is going to be stuff we're talking about with our therapist later next week. Right now, your leader scored is CJ Hart and Chris Nash. Those 2 drivers were battling each other when all the chaos broke out further back. We'll cover that here shortly. Just about 5 laps left in this last chance qualifier. Appreciate you joining us here on Slingshot TV, folks. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Johnny Rapp here in the booth. I'm already noticing Brett Karakoff. Subscribe to the channel, folks. If you haven't subscribed to Slingshot TV, secret, we got multiple broadcasts a week and great teams covering multiple series, including typically what we do, stock cars, mixing it up a little bit tonight, a little bit of a challenge for us to try to pick something new, but I'm enjoying myself right now. If you are as well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right underneath the main video, and it doesn't hurt to hit that thumbs up button to like. People ask us, how can we support your channel? Well, we say you can write a $1,000 check, but the second option that doesn't cost you anything is to hit that subscribe button. Puts these drivers and the drivers that race on our channel weekly in front of more eyeballs, which is immense and means a lot to them. So right now, it means a lot to CJ Harden that he is working the lead like he is. Chris, how nervous are you? Because the first two restarts, these drivers, Harden and Nash, have been able to get away cleanly. Is that luck going to run out and expire at some point?
Well, they're in the best position that you want to be in based upon what we have seen so far. We did see the leaders get a little bit sideways earlier on one of the initial starts of the race. So yeah, they're definitely in the prime position, but these cars, you know, they do punch a hole in the air. They do, you know, have a little bit of a draft effect going on down the straightaways. You know, they don't pull up on the other cars very quickly, but it's going to be hard to get away, I think, today. It's going to be very, very difficult to get away. But, you know, where that number 15 machine is of CJ Harden, you want to be in this position. You want to have all the clean air on that front wing. Give yourself the best turn. Treat those tires as best you can, and they're going to have to pry that lead from my fingers if I'm in that 15 car.
Hey, well, the answer to the question why the brick went to therapy was because it had put up too many emotional walls. Right now, CJ Harden, Chris Nash looking up to put up a wall behind them as they look to break away from the rest of the field, and they do so successfully. One car a little bit further back, Justin Wills looks underneath Matt Pleben, going for 5th position back here. Great battle ensuing back for 5th. Wills doesn't let it go cleanly, and they are still side by side.
That's Pleben in the wall right there. Some contact up ahead of him. I think that was Peter Drummond. They were 3 wide entering turn 2. That's going to enable Austin Pitt to come forth along with, some contact right there. Also, maybe again right there, that's that white machine on the outside. That's Broderick Larson.
Broderick Larson 3 wide behind them. A couple of cars you can see on the corner. One car off the pace down to the wall. I believe that is one car, Zachary Meredith in trouble again. We'll see if the race control holds that flag. It looks like everyone is going to get away cleanly. There's only 10 minutes left in this last chance qualifier. It will come down to time if we can't get all the laps in. Right now, of course, 5 to go, halfway through the race. Looking a little bit further back up front right now. CJ Harden is your lead, but Chris Nash right behind him. Harden tries the dragon maneuver off the backstretch corner. There is Nash to the outside. Top 3 finishers advance to the Freedom 100, the main feature tonight.
Yeah, and that car right there in 4th is the one we're watching. Justin Wills to the inside. He's looking underneath Andrew Moreau. He has position entering turn 4 right here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they get really close right there. That's Peter Drummond right behind him. Yeah, trying to watch what's going on right here between these drivers.
Oh my goodness, this is the battle for the transfer spot. Wills to the outside, does the willpower to get around. 2nd position, Chris Nash, he thinks better of it. Drops back behind them as they head through turn number 2 for the 7th time tonight. Just 4 laps left in the last chance qualifier. 3 of these top 4 will make it, but there are 5 cars lurking behind them. Contact between Nash and Wills. 2 cars to the high line. Can Wills make the maneuver past? He looks for the lead into turn 3.
Wills trying to do everything he can to make the top lane stick, and he is rolling up there, making it work. He's looking to the outside of the 26 right here. He might have the run off the corner if he can get a little bit of a draft. No, he's going to be covered off right here by the leader, CJ Harden, trying to protect that inside lane.
Oh boy, do we have a 3 wide battle headed into the turn. Andrew Moreau to the outside. thinks better of it, and boy, that was absolutely close. Moreau thought about making it 3 wide. 10 cars right now vying for the win. 3 laps left. 3 positions will make the Freedom 100. CJ Harden ducks to the inside line, trying to find where the momentum is and try to head off those passes. It looks like Justin Wills to the outside. Chris Nash pushes CJ Harden into turn 3.
3 laps to go. Ain't no way they run 3 laps like this.
Larson.
Yeah, Larson in the wall right here. It's anybody's race right here as they're going to
Yellow
come
flag.
off turn 4.
Yellow flag is out. 1 car into the wall. 2 cars loose as the yellow flag flies. It is going to be a 2-lap shootout. Of course, we have 7 minutes, 58 seconds before time elapses on the Freedom 100 last chance qualifier, folks. And it is indeed the last chance. And Chris, I think these drivers knew it.
Yeah, we almost had a crash right there after the yellow came out. 1 car almost went head on into the pit wall. Go back to see what happened, man. This racing was just incredible right here. Broderick Larson right there in that white machine, the number 53. He's way up high right here in turn 2. Looks like, yeah, that's Jimmy Moore underneath him right there. Getting a big toe off of these cars up ahead. All of these cars punching a big draft, a big slipstream in the air right here. And yeah, kind of made a late move to the right entering turn 3. It looks like that got the car out of shape, down into another one, gets hooked into that outside wall. And unfortunately for Broderick, I think he's going to be stuck in the wall right there. Had to go in reverse. Man, this driver's right there doing a nice job to avoid him.
Several drivers doing a lot of work to avoid cars tonight. It has been a melee for the what feels like 20 laps that we've run. Of course, only official 8 counted laps. Just 2 to go when we take the restart, and I believe we will get it in on time. Of course, these are long pace laps around the 2.5-mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway here on May 1st. We kick off May with the Freedom 100. Appreciate the sub, Ryan Kristen, as well as Luke Berkeley. Appreciate those subs as drivers cross the line. Boy, oh boy, I think we are going to be in for a treat. They have shortened this caution, Chris. We are looking at 1 lap till the green. Race control going to make sure we get this thing in on time. 2-lap shootout. Of course, if you are CJ Harden and Chris Nash, that was the first time you had company. Did they stand up to the pressure based on your vantage point, Chris?
Yeah, they've been up there at the front the entire race, and with all the chaos going on right there, they were able to hold on to those top 2 positions. So, man, if you're one of them, you're just hoping this just finishes the way it is currently running. The battle was on around the 3rd spot. Andrew Moreau, Justin Wills, those drivers, were really back and forth. And the racing they were doing, it felt like the whole pack just caught them. Peter Drummond, Austin Pitt, Matt Pleben, those guys just all started to, smell that blood in the water as those side-by-side cars just slowed each other down, punched that hole in the air, and allowed them to pull right back up and brought everybody into this thing. And, Ellis, we're coming to the line right here with 2 laps to go. I wonder if we'll get as formed up and as packed up as we were, because it seemed like it took a few laps for that to happen.
But when it happened, it happened. I think you think you've seen aggressive drivers on these restarts. I'm just looking back in 6th, 7th, 8th. I didn't do the 6, 7 on purpose. Austin Pitts, Matt Pleben, Matt Franson. These guys are going to be frantic to get to the checkered flag right now. The frantic pace is about to pick up. Pace car peels off. These drivers look for the green flag. The flag man's going to wave it now for the 4th time tonight. Boy, that was anticlimactic. They called the restart off, it looks like.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know what happened there, but
interesting. Well, we're going to have 1 to go. Folks, let us know who you think is going to win this race. You think it's going to be someone like CJ Harden or Chris Nash, guys who have really led much of the race? You think we're going to have an upset winner come from maybe outside of the top 4, top 5, someone like Austin Pitts, Matt Pleben, Matt Francis? Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. There's no real time to collect yourself, Chris. Once that green flag flies, there is no breathing. These drivers are going to be holding their breaths for at least, at least, a minute and a half or so for those final 2 laps. We got 3.5 minutes left to get these laps in. I do think we're going to be good to go, especially if they do take the green this time around. One of the biggest movers to talk about, Chris, we've talked about Justin Wills, but we haven't talked about what he's done. He's moved up 11 spots after starting in 14th position tonight. The driver of that number 27 has absolutely been as electric as that electric teal blue Yum Brands machine. Right now sitting in 3rd position. He is situated well to transfer into this Freedom 100. That is no easy feat that Wills has pulled off here.
Yeah, it's not. He made one heck of a charge right up through there. You know, came and just took that position. And, yeah, that was a nice drive up through there. And as long as he finishes where he's running right now or, higher than that, he's going to advance his way into the Freedom 100.
Right now, pace car advances their way down pit road, and I don't think if we get another caution, green flag waves, it's going to be done. So CJ Hart and Chris Nash, they get away cleanly, but boy, oh boy, in the back, that black and blue, or that blue and white machine is on the move. I believe that is Austin Pitts back in the 6th position. Right now, battle for the lead, though, picks up, trying to cover everything. We'll keep our eyes on the first 3 transfer spots as they work their way down the backstretch. Your top 3 look secure, but can Andrew Moreau, can Peter Drummond sniff a little bit of that draft? Andrew Will sniffs a lot of it to the outside of turn 3. He pulls back in line, and that is going to allow Andrew Moreau and Drummond, they will catch this lead pack, and maybe a couple more cars will catch the lead pack. They come down the front straightaway for the penultimate time. White flag is out here in the last chance qualifier.
Oh, yeah, maybe he's almost some tire-to-tire contact right there between the 26 and the 27. Back behind them, they are starting to catch those leaders as here comes Wills up the outside, up into 2nd.
Justin Wills to the outside now, looking for more in turn number 2 as they get set to take the backstretch for the final time. Wills pulls the crossover to the inside. He's going to have Chris Nash pushing from behind. Andrew Moore, that red and white car, to the outside with Peter Drummond and Matt Pleban in tow. 6 cars, 7 cars vying for the final 3 qualifying spots into the Freedom 100. It's going to be 1 corner to determine it. Wills, Harden, and Nash, they've got it right now, but Drummond and Moreau won it. 3 wide down the backstretch. These drivers got to hold a pretty wheel. It's going to be a mad dash, but it is going to be those top 3 who make it in with a big collision at the line. Wills, Nash, and Harden are your qualifiers, and carnage breaks out into turn 1.
And carnage definitely does break out, but you said it, Ellis. Those drivers that have maintained those top 3 positions for a lot of that race, they maintained it right there. And hey, we're going straight. If I do believe, we're going straight into the future now.
We are not wasting any time. It is time for everyone's favorite tradition, the starting lineup here of the Freedom 100. Starting with the pole, it's going to be Chase McGuire in the number 32 machine, a hot lap in qualifying. Jacob Bradley, a Slingshot TV familiar face, will start second in that number 50 machine. Zachary Shucker in the number 2 starts from 1 spot worse in 3rd slot tonight. A Slingshot regular Sean O'Hara from the past starts 4th in the number 7. Brian Simpson in that number 46 machine. He'll start on the inside of row number 3. To his outside, the number 45 of Ernie Francis Jr. Number 17, Billy Friedel starts 7th. Nathan Lehman in the number 40 machine comes from 8th tonight. Inside of row 5 is Colin Hendershot. To his outside, it's Dylan Chappelle in the number 29.
Starting on the inside of row number 6, we've got Benjamin Macer, and on his outside, 4-time IndyCar champion Alex Palou, Indy 500 winner. He's going to be one to watch all night tonight. And on the inside of row number 7, we've got Corbin Balk, and on his outside, Mario Jacobellis. Starting from the 15th position, a past winner of the Freedom 100, Ryan DeLusso, and on his outside, Luke Berkeley in the number 6. Cole Snyder will roll off 17th, and on his outside in the number 54, Max Garcia. Tyler Brynock is going to roll off from the 19th position in the number 51, and driving for Chip Ganassi Racing in the IndyCar Series, Kiffin Simpson going to roll off 20th.
21st, Hunter McElroy in the 20. To his outside, Aaron Smith starting 22nd in the 70 machine. Thomas Jones comes from 23rd tonight. Ben Neal, 24th. Nash Fry, 25th with Ricky Wall in the number 34 machine. Those drivers have their work cut out for them coming from 25th and 26th tonight. Nate Doherty starting 27th. Daniel Kane will be 28th. 29th is Alex Ettman, followed by Braden Mayfield in 30th. Justin Wills will start 31st. Of course, now we're talking about the drivers who qualified their way in that last chance qualifier, Chris Nash and CJ Harden. Amazing performances there in the last chance qualifier. Can they back up those performances with a strong performance in the main feature tonight? Folks, you're not going to have to wait very long to find out, because the pace car peels off as we get ready for the 5th annual Freedom 100. Green flag is in the air. At Indy, Chase McGuire, Jacob Bradley, they are the first ones to see the green flag. They fly down into turn number 1, side by side, but Chase McGuire and Sean O'Hara there on row 2 do a battle of their own.
Double wide all the way back through the field right here, side by side for the race lead. That car on the outside, that's Jacob Bradley. You're used to seeing him lead races here on Slingshot TV. One car around deep in the field. Looks like a single car spin a little bit further back. Caution
is out on the speedway, ladies and gentlemen, here at Indianapolis. Lap 1, we made it half a lap, and folks, we saw carnage, we saw chaos in the last chance qualifier. It looks like she has not gone anywhere, as lap 1, chaos and catastrophe has struck. And we'll see if we can't return to the scene of the crime to see what happened there on the exit of the corner. I believe that very well might have been Justin Wills with that trouble, Chris.
Yeah, we'll go back to see. I'm actually looking back right here as well to see if I can. Yeah, it was the 27 machine of Justin Wills, who put on one heck of a show in the LCQ, and unfortunately, is off to a little bit of a rough start here in the main feature, Freedom 100. There he is right there. Looks like he's battling it out with, can't tell who that is. I got the 48 car right behind it. Yeah, the car got sideways, as you mentioned, Ellis. Just got a little bit free, and maybe a little bit different track conditions than what he was experiencing in the LCQ. He was very aggressive late in the race right there, so maybe these different track conditions caught him out right there in that 27 car.
Now the good news for Wills is, of course, he has a quick repair. Drivers with 2 quick repairs tonight, unlimited tires, and what we believe is a tank full of gasoline that will get them through these 40 laps. And yes, these 40 laps are counting, every single one of them, even if they are under caution. We got comments coming into the chat right now. So many folks lighting up the chat boards. Of course, we're giving away that Alex Palou diecast, which you could potentially win. 23 folks chiming in with comments over the course of the evening. Just some of the newer ones from Tom Ash, I believe, in the chat. Undercut and Overheard podcast as well. Corbin Balker in the chat rooting for Kyle. Deborah Reef in here rooting on these drivers as well. Kyle Peters asking if we can go more than 2 laps of racing. Hey, it's a good question, but of course it is Indy. These cars going 200 miles an hour into a lightly banked corner. Certainly no easy feat, and these cars will step out if these drivers are not careful, folks. Appreciate you tuning in, and I want to shout out, really, Chris, let's throw the camera on 6th position, Johnny. I think we all know who it's going to, because that number 42 machine has moved through the field. Alex Palou, of course, 4-time IndyCar champion, as Chris noted earlier. Palou started 12th. He's up to the 6th position. Certainly one we knew we would be watching as this race started in that tied machine. Palou looking to see if he can pull off his first win in the month of May virtually here in the Freedom 100 presented by Turn 2 Racing. We were mentioning a lot of these folks in this race are IndyCar employees from all the various teams that are getting ready to ship off the stuff to Indianapolis. Test session there earlier this week, Chris, and I believe who was fastest? Do you know who was fastest? Was that Newgarden who was fastest in that?
I will admit, I've been a little bit behind on my IndyCar news. I love IndyCar racing, but I have been a little bit behind this week, been a little bit busy, and I'm not quite sure who's been leading testing. But Yeah, it's a very exciting time for sure, and seeing the cars hit the speedway for the month of May.
Hey, that's all right. I'm not much of an IndyCar news guy, but hey, one thing we want to draw your attention to as these drivers work their way down the front stretch. We got Ben Mazer, IndyCar employee, wearing that heart rate monitor, Chris, currently sitting at 100. Stress level doesn't look too bad right now, but the metrics will likely go up. You can see it already clicking up to 102. Cool feature just to see these drivers, they're getting a workout. We talk about race car drivers aren't athletes. We hear that all the time on ESPN, but even the virtual race car is no easy arena to play this game in, Chris. These drivers facing incredible G's in real life, but hey, turning these things is in the virtual world, you can still get your heart rate going in the stress and chaos of the pack that we've seen so far here at Indy.
Yeah, and especially with, I'm just imagining myself being out there in one of these tight packs and everything happening very quickly, close quarters. I find myself, I've got to tell myself to relax sometimes. I'll get a little bit tensed up, and sometimes, the more and more you tense, the more and more you grip the wheel, that heart rate goes up even more, right? And you find yourself holding your breath when you should be breathing, and it's just hard not to do it. And yeah, and I know that if I was out there, I'd probably be feeling the stress kind of like Ben is starting to feel right here as we see that heart rate climb as he's getting a little bit excited about this upcoming restart.
Speaking of upcoming restart, we're going to take these cautions for a little opportunities for a little bit of fun with the jokes. Chris, I got one for you. What's a Brick's favorite type of music? Everyone in the chat, let us know what is a Brick's favorite type of music right now. These cars working their way through the final set of corners. Pace car going to peel off. We'll give you the answer to that, what a Brick's favorite music is shortly. Jacob Bradley looking to lead the field down to lap number 5. One car on the inside, my goodness. Dashed up. That driver's going to have to really ease up on it. Was that Brian Simpson in that 46? Got a little bit too good of a restart. Look out. Alex Palou going early on the outside. Battle for third position. O'Hara has it. Palou wants it. O'Hara doesn't have anything for that number 42 machine. Palou now tucks in behind Chase McGuire. Looks to the inside down the backstretch. One car, the leader. Bradley tries to throw the block. No going is Chase McGuire up to the outside on top of Jacob Bradley right now. He's loose though, Chris.
He definitely is. Yeah, Alex Palou sending it on this restart right here, looking still inside of McGuire in the 32. That's Ernie Francis Jr. right behind Alex Palou. Sean O'Hara got a good view of all this going on. Right behind him is we're 3 wide, side by side for the race lead.
Side by side, that's Jacob Bradley on the inside, and that's IndyCar champion Alex Palou on the outside. Ernie Francis Jr. on the number 45. Out of nowhere comes into the third position. He's doing battle with Chase McGuire, who's bleeding spots in the last couple of laps. Now Palou to the outside. McGuire's got a run of his own. The top 3 cars side by side as they head down into turn 3.
What great racing right here. Chase McGuire trying to make that extreme top lane work. We've seen how dicey that is here on the speedway tonight so far. He's going to get back in line down low right here, trying to do the crossover on Alex Palou. Going to get a little bit of draft off that 50 machine of Jacob Bradley. We're going to be 3 wide again.
3 wide, Chase McGuire in the middle, Bradley on the inside, now 2 wide. McGuire slides up in front of Alex Palou. Meanwhile, Ernie Francis lays chase to Palou, and the inside doing battle for the third position. That's Palou on the outside, Ernie Francis Jr. on the inside. McGuire slips up a little bit, nowhere for Palou to go. Bradley leads the 2x2x2 machine down the backstretch on lap number 7 of 40. They're clicking away quickly. These drivers have found a little bit of momentum, but they are inches away from disaster, headed down into turn number 4.
Just look at this pack of cars right here, just jammed up on top of each other. We're 2x2x2. And while the cars are very close together, you just get the sense that track position, Ellis, is going to be so important tonight as Ernie Francis Jr. is going to make it 3 wide, putting Jacob Bradley in the middle.
Driver 45 looks for the lead. Bradley in the middle. Chase McGuire to the outside. Keeps it out of the wall. The battle continues. 3 wide. Down into turn 2. Palou going to try to take advantage of the momentum loss. He's going to take it 4 wide down the backstretch. This ain't no pace lap, folks, as they head down into turn 1. One car in the grass. I believe that was Sean O'Hara. Loses it 4 wide in the corner.
Trouble.
There goes 2 cars. Ernie Francis Jr. over the wall into turn number 3. Caution is on the speedway. My goodness. Someone check on Ernie Francis. Ernie, in the chat, let us know, are you okay? As the second caution flag flies over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A handful of drivers caught up in what feels like it was inevitable, Chris.
Yeah, and it's going to be the contact. I mean, they're 4 wide entering turn 3. Something has got to give right here. There's a little bit of side-by-side contact right there between Palou and Francis entering the corner, and then Francis and Bradley get together, and Ernie Francis goes for one heck of a ride into the catch fence in turn number 3, side over side and end over end. Man, it's just, you knew that the way that they were racing, that something was going to break off like that, and unfortunately for Ernie Francis Jr., he went for one wild ride. Like you said, Ellis, they do have that quick repair there as long as they can tow. Yeah, as long as they can tow back to the pits or get back to the pits. And it looks like Ernie Francis did have to tow. There was no way that car was going to move. So he might lose a lap or 2 right here trying to get back to the pits.
Parents, cover your children's eyes as we ride on board. I believe Jacob Bradley here. Ernie Francis Jr.
Yeah, you see the contact with Bradley. Car goes way up and into the catch fence. And man, all you can do at this point, Ellis, is just hold on and close your eyes. And hopefully this ride will stop really soon. And yeah, for Ernie, yeah, there he is taking the tow right there when he disappears. So
hey, well,
hopefully we'll see him back out here.
Ernie's in the chat, and the words of Michael Jackson, Ernie, are you okay? No, nothing. Nothing. Okay. Well, I got one more bad joke for you, folks. We asked you what a Brick's favorite genre of music is. Chris, you got any idea?
Is it something that has to do with Brick House?
No, that was a good guess. It's hard rock.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Oh boy, Ernie Francis is okay, folks. He is in the chat. He says he's died, but he's since been reincarnated here. He will be back. Might be a lap down. We'll have to see if he is going to be a lap down. I have to tow back to the pits. But my goodness, Alex Palou up to second place. He was, of course, one of the cars caught up in that 4 wide battle that went from absolutely splendid to catastrophic in a fraction of a second. That saw Ernie Francis Jr. go over the wall. We are working the second caution of the evening, folks. 1/4, 25% of the way through the Freedom 100. We've run the Freedom 25 at this point. Of course, we're giving away that Alex Palou diecast. Wouldn't that be crazy if Alex Palou won the race and we gave away the diecast? We could go like triple irony and give it to Alex Palou, his own diecast. But we definitely have some contenders in the chat right now. Looks like Ampero has subscribed. We appreciate you subscribing, folks. Follow Ampero's lead. Smart person here. Hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a single dime, but it helps our channel immensely. Look at that heart rate right now on Ben Mazer in the bottom right-hand corner. The stress level's creeping up just a little bit, Chris, but I'm really impressed with Mazer's composure back in 14th positions. Lost a couple spots since the start of the race, but still not to be involved in those 2 incidents. I would say that's got to be a victory early for Mazer.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, and yeah, we'll have to watch right here as this race progresses right here. About these drivers, Ellis, I'm very curious to see the drivers who are able to work their way up through the field tonight. Like, you know, drivers who started kind of deep in the field. You know, when we saw that, you know, that pack, you know, I just got the sense that, man, it's going to be really, really difficult to, you know, bust your way through, you know, 2 and 3 wide racing. So, you know, if you're up here where, you know, where Chase McGuire is and Alex Palou, Sean O'Hara, I just feel like it's, you know, you're going to have to do everything that you can to just maintain that track position. And if you got it, you know, you just got to feel like you have such a huge advantage over the rest of the field with as tightly packed as they were on that green flag, that little green flag run that we had.
It was a nice little green flag run. I know the fans in the chat enjoyed it. Hopefully we get a few more of those green flag runs in by the time we hit these 40 laps. Of course, a short little jaunt tonight down the 2.5-mile yard of bricks at Indianapolis. You're joining Slingshot TV, folks. We are ecstatic that you tuned in. And Ellis Thomas, Chris Smith, and Johnny Rapp here in the Slingshot TV booth, getting ready to bring you more live racing action. Johnny, I'm wondering if, in honor of Connor, who's not here tonight, maybe we got some static cams. We might do a crank it up and just go radio silent, let you hear these cars hit 200-mile-an-hour full song down into turn number 1. I believe that is a signal to me. So we're going to be getting ready for the pace car to peel off, folks. We're going to take a step aside and let you listen to the sights and sounds of these Indy cars. Folks, your eyes did not deceive you. They wasted no time in going back to 3 wide. No one learned their lesson, but that's how race car drivers work right now. As Chase McGuire leading Alex Palou and Sean O'Hara through turns 1 and 2. O'Hara on the inside, Palou on the outside. Narrowly avoids the wall. He's got Nathan Lehman in that black and gray machine outside of him, but Max Garcia as well as Hunter McElray to the inside, 3 wide for 4th position, down into turn number 3. Now it's a 2-car battle. O'Hara and Garcia, 1 car in the wall. That was Hunter McElray who slid up there for a moment, Chris.
Yeah, maybe some contact right there with Nathan Lehman in the number 40 machine. Got some new names up here at the front of this thing, Ellis, and man, they are dicing it up right here at the front of this thing. Alex Palou charging back up the outside right here on Chase McGuire, side by side for the race lead, and man, these drivers, I think that you said it perfectly. They haven't learned a lesson tonight. They are still going after it.
Still going after it right now. Chase McGuire's got the best seat in the house as we ride on board. You can see 3 wide behind him. All going on in his rear view mirror. 1 car, Nathan Lehman to the outside. Palou right in the middle of the sand with Sean O'Hara still inside. A little bit loose, maybe clipped the apron. Got a little bit of the grass. 2 cars collide. Further behind, caution is out on the racetrack, folks. I believe that is going to be, looking to see if I can find where that broke out.
Cole Snyder in that number 30 machine. I think he's the car that it started with. Maybe had some contact with Broderick Larson a little bit further back in the field. Unfortunately, yeah, those 2 drivers, I think they got together, Ellis, down the backstretch.
We'll see if we can't step in and see what actually happened with the Slingshot TV replay, of course. Let's go ahead and send it back to lap 15. Oh, boy.
Yeah, he's already in the wall right there. I think there's a little bit of a maneuver. I think that Cole Snyder was possibly reacting to Broderick Larson. Larson was pulling up on the back of Aaron Smith, and they got a little bit jammed up down there on that inside lane. The 53 kind of reacted to that, and yeah, and the 30 has a little bit of a bigger reaction and turns hard right into that outside wall. And unfortunately, you saw another car get caught up in that. That was the number 49 of Austin Pitt. Ernie Francis Jr. just barely avoided that catastrophe right there after getting his quick repair and back out on the track. So some more drivers going to be taking some quick repairs here, Ellis.
Well, some drivers slip into the back, taking quick repairs, but I want to focus in on a couple drivers who have moved their way to the front. Up in 4th position, we ride on board with Austin Pitt right now. Mr. Pitt did not enjoy what he saw down the backstretch. Let's take a look.
He's going to see a lot of Cole Snyder.
Left side. My goodness. Did not get the launch that we've seen some other cars get tonight. Maybe not the 6 or 7 or 8 we had earlier, but certainly an honorable mention in the gymnastics down the backstretch tonight. Back in 4th position, Max Garcia, Chris, and Hunter McElroy right behind him in 5th position. 14th and 16th spots gained on the evening in just the first 16 of 40 laps. Shout out to those two drivers because they have worked their way through the field in what has been a dicey night. 3 wide, of course, seemingly required to get through there as we see Ben Mazur's heart rate going up just a little bit. But really impressive night for Max Garcia and Hunter McElroy as well. Of course, several other drivers have worked their way up through the field a little bit further back. We'll be mentioning them later on in the evening. But, oh, man, I'm having a lot of fun right now, Chris.
Yeah, I am too. And I want to give a shout out also to another driver that has just clawed his way up through the field, and that is Steven Piero. He is up into the 13th position. It's showing, I think that our starting grid might have been a little bit off on his. It's showing him as up 32. I don't think that's exactly accurate, but yeah, he's made a nice little charge up through the field here as well. Chris Nash, one of the drivers else who transferred in through the LCQ, he is up into the 15th position, so quite an impressive drive for the 26.
Several drivers have climbed their way through the field. Just looking at the rest of the field, I'm trying to see. I thought DeLusso had started this one, but I'm having trouble finding him now. I'm not sure. Yeah,
he's in the 24th position in the number 14 machine, and still circulating the speedway right now. So he's definitely. I mean, we've seen what has gone on up here at the front of this thing, Ellis. I think that anybody that's still circulating the speedway, you know, with a clean car, man, they got a shot at this thing.
They got a shot indeed, folks. Well, you've got a shot to win an Alex Palou diecast. Of course, he's running 3rd on the track right now. You can take home that DHL diecast by simply commenting in the chat. Let us know who you're rooting for. Play trivia with us. We've got a good trivia question coming up for you a little bit later on past the halfway point tonight. Your opportunity to get on the leaderboard, take home that Alex Palou diecast. Several folks have already chatted in right now, but we'll be keeping an eye on that number 42 machine to see how long it takes him to get back up to the front of the pack and what's been a remarkable campaign for that driver just already out the gate, approaching the halfway point at Indianapolis. Of course, it's the 5th annual Freedom 100. So many of these drivers, I was talking to Ben Mazur, who's the organizer of this race. He's an IndyCar employee, I believe mechanic, but so many of these drivers getting set for what is going to be a long month of May. This is kind of their final send-off, you know, to the virtual racing world, at least for the next 30 days or so. And of course, all of them hoping that their driver and crew is able to hoist the Borg Warner Trophy on that Sunday. But right now, they're getting a little bit of an early start at it as the pace car makes their way around turns 3 and 4. As we are going to see that pace car, I believe, making their way down pit road, that left-hand turn. We've got that tower cam looking straight at those drivers. Single file restart this time here at Indianapolis. Chase McGuire, Sean O'Hara. Those are your first two. They're the first two to see the green flag here. Coming to lap 18.
Trouble.
One car. Trouble hard into the wall. Chris Nash. Aaron Smith, the second, I believe also may be involved. Both of those 2 penalties, I believe, black flags on the restart. They might be clear, but Chris Nash looks like he got it going okay, Chris. A little bit of chaos there on the restart.
Yeah, those stack-ups on these single-file restarts, drivers trying to anticipate, trying to get the biggest jump they can get right there, and we have seen the catastrophe all night long tonight as, boy, we got the makings of a catastrophe right here with Alex Palou in the middle of this. You got the 54 of Max Garcia. He is making a great charge up the outside right here, and Sean O'Hara, Ellis, going for the lead.
Sean O'Hara on the outside, looking to get by Chase McGuire. Palou's going to stick his nose in there. Max Garcia thinks about it, thinks better, making it 4 wide down into turn number 1 as they cross the yard of bricks now for the 18th time. Palou, McGuire almost come to blows. Hunter McElroy also in that fray. Sean O'Hara had nowhere to go on the outside, had to lift, had to check up just a little bit. Now he's got, looks like Hunter McElroy to the inside. Man, oh man, Max Garcia involved in that. 4 wide, oh my goodness, Chris, 4 wide for the lead. Palou leads it, McGuire there, but Max Garcia with a massive run into turn 3.
Yeah, last time we were 4 wide entering turn 3, it didn't work out. I'm glad they could at least manage to get it down to 3 wide as we've got Max Garcia on the outside trying to use that momentum from the top lane to maybe clear these guys. He doesn't have a chance at it though right here as Chase McGuire has a great run down the front straightaway. Going to get about half a car length on Alex Palou entering turn 1.
McGuire, Palou, Garcia. Those are your top 3. Garcia almost gets in the wall.
Trouble.
He does. Trouble with Palou. Sean O'Hara and McGuire. I believe Sean O'Hara. Trouble started with O'Hara, and I believe
that's Garcia in the wall.
Garcia in the wall. Doesn't look like we're going to see the caution flag. The rest of the field is somehow able to work their way by it with no collateral damage. Looks like McGuire and Palou still going at it. McGuire's going to walk away with the single file lead here, but Palou says, not so fast, sir. Palou in that bright orange and yellow number 42 machine. He's got a mirror full of Sean O'Hara and now Hunter McElroy, who takes it 3 wide on the outside, headed down into turn 1. We've reached the halfway point of the Freedom 100.
We've reached halfway right here, and all these drivers you see on your screen right here, Ellis, they all got a shot to win this thing as we are still doubled up right here. Palou looks to get a little bit of a draft and shoot out from the outside. Looking to the outside of McGuire right here. They're 2 and 3 wide behind these two right here. One driver having connection issues. That's Hunter McElroy right here. It gets itself straightened out entering turn 3. One car really high in turn 3. That's Aaron Smith in that yellow machine. He's trying to gain some track position on the field.
Aaron Smith looking to make his way by Mario Jacob Ellis. One car really got out of line and made a big maneuver. I believe that was Kiffin Simpson back in 6th position. Kiffin in the number 5 machine now. He's got company with Zachary Shucker underneath him. Simpson on the outside, Shucker on the inside. That is a battle currently going on for the 6th position. They remain 2 by 2. This, oh boy, Sean O'Hara, Corbin Balky. Big contact, several cars end over end. 7 or 8 cars involved in that, pirouetting down the backstretch. Carnage blocks the track and everyone piles in. Chris, I haven't seen anything like this before.
I haven't either, man. You see Aaron Smith, one of those cars involved in that. Looks like we still got some cars running into each other, running over the top of each other as drivers are attempting to get back to the pits. I saw several cars upside down right there. I don't know if I've seen that many cars.
Razor's heart rate got up to 130 in that one as we see what happened here. My goodness.
Yeah, let's go back right here to watch right here. It's going to be contact between Sean O'Hara into that. I believe that's the number 40 machine, if I'm not mistaken, on the outside right there. No, that was the number 10, excuse me, of Corbin Balky. And man, what do you do, Ellis, when they're 2 and 3 wide like this, all jammed up on top of each other? There is just no escape road. It's kind of like the big one that you saw at Talladega if you watched the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend.
You close your eyes and hit the throttle.
I mean, that's about all you can do, that maybe you're going to get through it. And yeah, for most of these drivers that were behind the crash, they were unable to do so.
Oh, boy. Well, the carnage has not died down at all. The race car graveyard begins to form on the backstretch here at Indianapolis. Of course, many of these drivers still have a quick repair remaining in their holster. I'm just looking to see what drivers have currently used that. Of course, Justin Wills used it earlier in this race, but a lot of drivers have held on to them and still have one remaining. So Chris, I think that this field is not going to be winnowed really hardly at all by that, which is good news if you're a fan watching at home, but bad news if you're a driver trying to work your way through the field. I think this could be a great opportunity. We're going to see if, Chris, we got drivers coming down pit road. They want tires and fuel. Chase McGuire, of course, going to lead them down pit road. He'll be the first one to see his pit crew after starting up front. Let's see how fast these pit crews can get these cars off pit road after a splash of fuel and some tires on these IndyNXT machines.
Yeah, I'm curious if maybe that, I wonder if maybe there's a little bit of tire wear issue going on with some of these drivers, if maybe they feel like that, that's hampering their speed right here. Because we felt like, and, I don't know how accurate our numbers were in the pre-race, we felt like they could make it to the end of this thing on a tank of fuel. Yeah, electing to come down pit road right here. It looks like several drivers are going to take, I don't know if those are drivers, those might be drivers getting their quick repairs and coming off pit lane, but Chase McGuire, our leader before, he's going to come off pit road, and I think he's going to be around the 14th position exiting the pits, Ellis.
Yeah, I'm looking at really everyone. 8th on up had taken a pit stop. Matt Franson also throw him into that. 9 out of the top 10 scored were not on pit road, I believe, that time, based on what I am seeing on our timing and scoring. So whether these cars are going to be moving around to catch the back of the pack, or they're going to be restarting up front, you want to talk about throwing a whole monkey wrench into the system, Chris. 8 or 9 cars that are not used to being up front, now up front with the faster cars who have been running up front much of the evening trying to work their way by. Oh, that is a recipe for a great, great race. But before we talk about the setup for that, folks, I think it's a good opportunity. Maybe our last. No, it's not going to be our last option. But we'll go ahead and get it in now. We got a trivia question. Let us know what you think the answer to this question is. We'll see how many of you are motorsports experts. I know Sean Signori is going to get his answers in the chat here. But trivia question tonight. Ray Haroon won the first Indy 500 using what new invention to replace a riding mechanic? Was it A, a rear view mirror, B, a radio, or C, a speedometer? Folks, let us know what you think the answer is to that question. Ray Haroon won the first Indy 500 with what new piece of technology on that car? Was it A, rear view mirror, B, a radio, or C, a speedometer? Chris, I know you probably know the answer to that. I know Sean Signori is going to get his answer in. Folks, get those answers into the chat. Let us know if you're a motorsports expert. Right now, working their way down the backstretch. I believe lights are going to be off on the pace car. We will be going green this time by, and Chris, it's going to give us 15 laps to the finish. It's going to be a mad dash. We're almost back to the length of the LCQ, the last chance qualifier. Energy's picking up a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely picking up, and, you know, I was trying to think earlier. I was trying to do like a quick mental calculation, or, you know, try to rack my brain about how many of these drivers have, you know, taken a quick repair, how many of them might be on their second quick repair. And, you know, I just got to thinking, Ellis, I don't think it matters, because I think the drivers are just going to be sending it anyway for these final 15 laps. So some drivers have a quick repair left. Some of them have 2, and maybe some drivers don't have any left. But I don't think it's going to matter, because I think they're all going to go for it here on this restart, like we've been seeing all night.
I think there is certainly likely going to be no holding back. Only car holding anything back right now is the pace car. Lifts off the throttle, makes that left-hand turn down the pit road. It's going to be Brian Simpson, Ricky Wall. They're your first 2 competitors. Hard crash back in 7th and 8th. Tyler Brynock looks like, oh my God, the carnage. Oh my gosh. The humanity across the start-finish line. Please, medical crew, get down there to check. And that is the car that I believe it started with, Chris. It was a log jam, a jam up on the restart. A restart Matt gone Franson. Wrong.
Yeah, it's going to be around Matt Franson. I don't know if he's the car that started, but he's the first one I saw up in the air, the number 25 machine, and hopefully that AMR safety team hopefully is able to get to these drivers as quickly as they can, because that was a lot of chaos right there. Here we are from the chopper game. Yeah, and you see right here, yeah, just a stack up. Drivers trying to anticipate the start, and that is the trouble on restarts here at Indy with a single file restart. And oh my gosh, one car, I think was that Alex Palou way up in the air?
It was.
Yeah, Palou flying through the air, soaring like an eagle. That's not how he wanted to be spending that restart, that's for sure. And a lot of drivers, unfortunately, another car soaring through the air here, and that just shows you the difference of speed in these IndyNXT cars. The ones that slow down and the ones, you know, that are still going full throttle. And man, that leads to catastrophe, as you see.
Got some comments coming in the chat. Jacob Parker wondering if Corbin Balky was part of that crash. Corbin had some issues earlier, Jacob. He's used one of his fast repairs, currently back in the 35th position, but he is still out there on the track racing, so don't go anywhere. He is still in the running for the win. Working the 4th caution, folks, tonight here on lap 27. It's probably going to leave us with about 12 laps remaining in this race, which has been an absolutely fantastic race so far. So many lead changes, Chris. The draft has been absolutely incredible here. The closing rates and the ability of these cars to really run side by side as long as they have has been incredibly impressive. Even that crash right there on the restart had nothing to do with the cars being side by side. These drivers are showing a lot of skill here tonight.
Yeah, they definitely are. I've loved a lot of what I've seen. I know that some of the crashing has been unfortunate here in the last couple of restarts, but man, it has been entertaining from the drop of the green flag. So I can say that I really appreciate the drivers for being willing to go for it as much as they have right here. So I know that we're in store probably for a lot more chaos between now and the end of this thing, but man, I can't wait for it. I wonder, Ellis, if our producer Johnny Rapp would mind if we did a little side-by-side right here. I wanted to show the folks at home one heck of an impact that we see right here. This is actually riding on board with Alexander Ettman in the number 81, and you can see him close up on the crash right here, and he is going to go for one heck of a ride. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make anybody sick. I'll kind of slow it down a little bit right here, but this is one of the most insane tumbles, and we've seen many of them. One of the most insane tumbles that we've seen all race long.
Goodness, it fades to black for added effect there. Almost as if that virtual driver maybe got a bit of a mental concussion there, but all jokes aside right now, 13 laps to go, working lap number 28, now 29 of the 40 laps that make up the Freedom 100, the 5th annual running of the Freedom 100. Of course, $450 plus on the line. So if you wonder why these drivers are driving like mad folks out there, that is your answer. Of course, you can see it's a who's who of former winners, including Scott McLaughlin, name that is familiar to many IndyCar fans. Of course, we got our own group of IndyCar drivers in here tonight. Of course, Scott not here, but we've been talking about Alex Palou. We're, of course, giving away that diecast of Alex Palou later on this night, but we got Kiffin Simpson in here as well. We've got also some other real-world drivers, Ernie Francis Jr. in here as well, and if we missed anyone else who's a real-world driver, apologies. But right now, man, I am excited to see what the future 10 laps, or the final 10 laps, certainly hold. Before we do so, we asked you that trivia question. Ray Haroon had what new piece of technology on that machine when he won the very first Indy 500? What was that piece of technology? Chris, you got any idea?
I believe it was a rear view mirror, if I'm not mistaken.
You would absolutely be correct. Rear view mirror. Can you imagine driving these things without a rear view mirror? My goodness, that's nightmare fuel right there.
It is. Yeah,
Maybe
I couldn't imagine. Yeah, maybe it's better to not know all these crazy people behind you. Yeah, just to focus on the road ahead, right?
Yeah, right. That's right now. We got Brian Simpson focusing on the road ahead, folks. He is your leader. Ricky Wall second. Zach Meredith has worked his way up to the third position after a tough start to this race. Folks, we're back underway. Looks like the drivers have decided to take it a little bit easy. See if we can't get a lap in here at the Freedom 100 as we set sail on the final 25%, the final 25 miles at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Simpson leads, but the action is picked up. That is Zachary Shucker in the number 2 machine right behind Jeremy
trouble behind them.
Big trouble down the backstretch. One car in the wall. Looks like the race controller's going to let it go, at least for the moment being. 2 cars in the grass. Everyone collects it, but we remain under green flag conditions. We'll check on the condition of those drivers and who that was momentarily. But right now, there is the yellow flag. Race control has put it out on lap number 29. Laps are clicking away, and so are drivers' opportunities to get up to the front to get that $450 prize. And look how many cars are still in the field.
Yeah, and this is going to be contact between Braden Mayfield in the 48 and the number 15, one of our LCQ transfer drivers, CJ Harden in the GoDaddy machine. Little failure to communicate off of turn 2. One of them zigged and one of them zagged. They met together. Aaron Smith spun around as a result of it and backed his number 70 machine into the inside retaining wall. There's Braden Mayfield on the inside in those blue and orange McLaren colors. There goes Aaron Smith around. CJ Harden into the outside wall. Other drivers behind them doing a nice job taking evasive action to avoid the catastrophe right there. I'm not sure if there was any other crashing or contact that occurred on the speedway that brought out the yellow. But yeah, that looks like that was the only incident.
Drivers mostly averting crisis there right now. 40, got some comments in the chat. Real Nathan Gentry says the 55 machine could potentially do it. Of course, he's talking about Jerem P. O'Shea in that number 55, currently running 5th. So a great run for Jerem. Chris, he is one of the biggest movers, up 38 positions, along with Zachary Meredith in 3rd, up 39 positions. So look at O'Shea. What a campaign for the first 30 laps.
Yeah, I think our scoring might be a little bit off because there's only 33 that transferred here. But, yeah, I think they've definitely come from deep in the field. Yeah, that's a heck of a drive for Jerem O'Shea up here into the 5th position. Ellis, I feel like, we've got a lot of newcomers up here in the top 5. I think that's an important point to make here in the closing laps of this thing. We saw, Sean O'Hare, we saw Alex Palou, Jacob Bradley. They kind of, dominated the early goings of this thing. And I feel like, you also have McGuire up here in the 32. And now we've got some new players up here. And, it's kind of hard to say who's got what in the closing stages of this race. But it's going to be hard to beat that track position that the 46 of Brian Simpson has right now.
It is going to be incredibly hard. Looking at several drivers who are a lap down, really up at 23rd position. Nate Doherty, the first driver, a lap down. Of course, going to be tough for them to find their way back on the lead lap, at least all of them. Chase McGuire, Max Garcia, 2 drivers, Chris, that we saw up front early on and really fast, along with Ernie Francis Jr., Corbin Balky. They were all up there vying for the top spot. It feels like less than 20 minutes ago, but they find themselves really trying to dig themselves out of a hole right now. We're all talking about up in the front. Brian Simpson, Ricky Walzak Meredith, Chance Pobjecki, and Jerem O'Shea. You mentioned it. Kind of names we haven't heard all night long. So the parity is real here at Indy. Light's going to be out on the pace car this time by Jacob Parker saying, glad Corbin's still okay, and ripping it. Sorry to the rest of the drivers that were part of that pileup. Goes to show that these drivers are putting their all into this Freedom 100. BC Eagles 40 says, I've been seen at the infield care center. I am okay. Ran out of talent at the wrong time. Hey, it's tough out there, CJ Harden. No shame, nothing to hang your head about, especially based on that LCQ performance to get into this thing. Undercut and overheard. James, Jimmy, we appreciate you, man, showing you a little bit of love with that Undercut and Overheard podcast. I know you're going to be talking about some IndyCar news this month with it being May, so folks, tune in to the Undercut and Overheard podcast. Look them up. Jimmy, if you want to throw the link in the chat, you be our guest. Jimmy saying he wished he made the main, but glad to be here watching it, man. We are glad you are joining us. Chris, that's a hell of a lot of cars out there on the track right now.
It is, and yeah, I think that I made the mistake before about saying, about the scoring issue. Yeah, we had over 33 cars start the race. Currently 38 cars still running right here, and yeah, all the way down to the 44th and 45th position. Yeah, cars that are still out here on the track. There's a lot of cars out here, Ellis, and that speaks to, I think, some of the crashes that we've seen tonight, why they have looked as spectacular as they have been. But as spectacular as the crashes have been, the racing has been just as spectacular.
It is going to be more than spectacular now. 7 laps remaining. When Brian Simpson crosses the line, it's not going to take long. Green flag is out. Back in Indianapolis, 7 laps left in the Freedom 100. Simpson leads it. Ricky Wall draws a bead in second place in that number 34 machine. Zachary Meredith not too far behind. Chance Poblecki, and don't look now, but Steven Piero, Chris, 39 spots up in that number 16, currently in the 6th position. He's one to watch. He was oh so fast earlier on. Can Piero find his way up to the lead by the time this thing is over? Just a little bit further back in the field, a battle for 9th ensues. Nathan Lehman and Chris Nash, one of the names we were following earlier. Nash watching Lehman and Higgins battle it out for the 8th position. Nash draws to the inside there. He'll try to follow Lehman through. Higgins slams the door, though, at least for the moment. One car further back. Jacob Bradley going for it underneath McNeil into turn 1.
Yeah, we are side by side for the race lead up here. We got Brian Simpson trying to fight off Ricky Wall on the outside in that number 34, the yellow submarine Pennzoil paint scheme, trying to do everything he can. We're 3 wide. One car coming up the middle right here. I think that's Zachary Shucker.
Oh, be careful not to hook each other. Shucker in the middle. He's got
trouble.
Steven Piero. Trouble. One car in the wall. Chance Pubjecki in the 21. Will we see the yellow? Race control holding the flag right now. Doesn't look like they're going to put it out. The leader almost contact down the front stretch. Big moments for the leaders. Brian Simpson with a big push from Steven Piero. Here comes Zach Meredith on the outside.
Yeah, that was a 34 machine in the wall. Ricky Wall, he unfortunately had to take a tow to the pits right there. One car right up there on the rear bumper, not the bumper, on the rear wing of Brian Simpson. That is Steven Piero. He is the driver who is up 43 positions. Got a shot to win this thing late in the going, Ellis.
Every driver in the frame right now has a shot to win this race. Steven Piero on the inside, Zachary Meredith on the outside. They're going to be coming from 4 to go as they come through turns 4 down the front straightaway. 4 laps to go, 4 times down the front straightaway. Piero leaps to the right. He's got Zach Meredith with him, but here comes Shucker to help out Steven Piero, or I should say Brian Simpson. 2 by 2 down into turn 1. I should say 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 as the top 10 battles.
Yeah, Zachary Shucker right here has been making some great moves here in the closing laps of this race. He's got that number 2 machine in a good position. He's going to go inside, 3 wide down the backstretch, 4 wide, 1 car up the outside. Shucker's in the grass.
1 car in the grass, lifts out the throttle, and goes to 3 wide. Can they hold it? 1 car, Zachary Meredith up tight, 1 car sideways. Can everyone else avoid it? The answer is no. Carnage ensues down into turn 3 and turn 4. My goodness, Chris, how did we make it that long without that caution happening? It is a testament to the skill level that these drivers have put on full display tonight. A wad of them, though, in turn 3 right now.
Yeah, a lot of cars involved right here. Man, we got 3 wide down the backstretch right there. I think that was Zachary Meredith was the car that was shoving it up high, 4 wide. And, yeah, unfortunately for that number 40 machine of Nathan Lehman, he was the first car we saw get turned around. Several cars trying to avoid. There's just nowhere to go. There's just oh, is that Ernie Francis? Ernie Francis going for another wild ride tonight.
Tire.
Yeah, hopefully we can get another medical check on Ernie. That AMR safety team hopefully gets to that number 45 machine as quickly as possible. But yeah, there's nothing to do else. There's nowhere to go at these speeds as close as they're running to avoid this this catastrophe on the speedway tonight.
Lots of folks in the chat reacting to that massive crash. Maybe best comment. Jimmy Moore in the chat with Undercut and Overheard in the voice of Darrell Waltrip. Chris says, I sure hope Dale's okay. Big crash here on lap 38. Right. Yeah, boy, my goodness. Look at that car. Is that Francis right there careening across the track? Several cars into the guardrails there in the fence in the corner. Right now, Brian Simpson, Steven Piero, Kiffin Simpson, they got the best view in the house. And I believe... Okay, we're going to be awaiting confirmation. I think this will be a green-white-checkered finish. We are going to have a 2-lap shootout here. Chris?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Parents need to probably pull their kids out of the room for these final 2 laps because it is absolutely going to be insane.
Yeah, it's important to note that there are 3 attempts tonight. 3 attempts at a green flag finish is what we will get. Once the drivers receive the white flag, all bets are off. There will not be a yellow flag to end the race. So these drivers are definitely going to be looking for that white flag to see, you know, if we do get that green flag finish. And yeah, I think that I think that from what we have seen so far. It might take, Ellis, it might take multiple attempts for us to get to the end of this thing.
I think you are absolutely right. I'm looking at a couple things here, and I saw a come on Pelot chat, and it made me think that Alex was back out on the track, but I think currently Alex is sitting 41st out of this race after his luck ran out. But it's such a fun thing to watch these real-life drivers. We got another real-lifer IndyCar driver, though, Kiffin Simpson from Chip Ganassi Racing. We're going to be keeping an eye on in that third position. We got Kiffin Simpson being rooted on by Undercut Overheard, Jacob Parker rooting on Pelot, Jacob Parker also rooting on Corbin Balke in the chat. Yep. Folks, of course, we're giving away that Alex Pelot diecast. We'll do it right after the checkered flag, so you got to stick around till the end to see if you are going to win. And lights are out on the pace cars. These drivers get those tires heated up for what might be the final restart of the night. And Chris, I think we could have a shot to add a two-time winner to the list of former winners. Zachary Meredith, I believe, would be the first two-time winner to win it. So in the 5-year running, he could be the first two-time winner to claim glory here and drink the milk at the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll see if Meredith in that 36 machine currently running 5th has got the speed and be able to do it.
Yeah, we'll see if he does right here. And I want to update that number 10 machine of Corbin Balke running in the 19th position. He was definitely talking to some drivers in the chat just a couple of minutes ago. And I quote when I say this, "Ben, if I don't win this, I won't get to keep custody of my kids. Please give me the wave. I need this money." So this might be a driver right here to keep our eyes on.
We're laughing, assuming it's a joke.
I'm hoping it is a joke. Yeah.
But,
so
that is an important point because $450, Chris, on the line. We ain't splitting it either. It's winner take all. $450 of Freedom Bucks here for the Freedom 100. Brian Simpson, Steven Piero, Kiffin Simpson, all looking to take home that win. And right now, pace car is maybe the safest car on the track because they are out of the way for Brian Simpson, Steven Piero, and Kiffin Simpson to get the green flag. 2 laps to go. The entire field looks to avoid a catastrophe, at least on this restart. Piero, Simpson, they're going to have their work cut out for him. 3-car breakaway. It's about 10 car lengths back to Schucker and Meredith in 4th and 5th position. We'll keep our eyes on the top 3, but we'll update you on if anyone else gets close. Right now, it's a 3-car breakaway. The draft goes to Simpson, who looks to the outside of Piero. Oh, he turns! Zachary Schucker, big trouble. My goodness, the leader has been turned into the wall. Simpson is no more here on lap 41, Chris. My gosh, firefighters and first responders need to get to the track immediately from what we're seeing in the chat. My goodness, Chris. That started with a bit of a late move down to the grass.
Yeah, Steven Piero looking to the inside right here of Brian Simpson. Simpson makes a little block right there, and yeah, just the right front tire into the left rear of Simpson. And yeah, you saw, I think that was Kiffin Simpson in the number 5. We got a couple of Simpsons up here, unfortunately collected in that. He had nowhere to go as Brian Simpson got turned right into his path. Several cars involved, one of them upside down during this deal. Several cars actually upside down, as we've seen in almost every crash tonight.
God, I wanted an onboard with Kiffin Simpson because that was a launch.
It really was. Yeah, you see Brian Simpson got turned in front of him, and you see his perspective. He had just nowhere to go. There's just no time to react, and one driver came and just cleaned his clock out, entering turn 3 right there. And yeah, I thought it was best case scenario for Brian Simpson, Steven Piero. It seemed like, Ellis, that they had a lot of room to work with. And I thought that they had a really good chance of making it to the white flag. But, we're going to re-rack them and do this again with Piero leading this thing, and Zachary Schucker looks like lining up in the 2nd spot.
Potts on Potts and Kyle Peters, as well as Sean Signori reacting in the chat. Kyle believes they're going to use all 3 of these green-white checkers. Boy, I need a glass of water at this point because it has been a wild night. Chris, my voice was sore from last night's call at Road America. And I think I'm going to wake up regretting it all tomorrow morning. I'm going to have to take some tea before I go to bed or something. But right now, lights still on the pace car, folks. We are going to step away for just one moment to hear from our partners at Whiplash SimCams, and we'll get things re-racked for what could be the final restart of the night. Whiplash making all of it possible, folks. We'll be right back on the other end of this break. Stay tuned. You are looking live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Freedom 100, getting ready to see its conclusion. The climax is right around the corner, folks. Pace car, lights out. It's going to be Steven Piero involved in that last caution. He's going to be your leader with Zachary Shucker, Sean O'Hara, Benjamin Mazer, and Matt Pleben in the 5th position. We're going to be looking at Ben Mazer's heart rate, Chris, because I think 117 is as low as we're going to see it for the next 2 laps or so in that right-hand corner. It is creeping up, and so is the stress level, getting ready to enter the danger zone here before too long. Of course, Mazer started in 11th, has found himself up into the 4th position. It's been a roller coaster of a night for a lot of these drivers. Mazer, one of them, kind of up and down like a yo-yo throughout the field as we've seen some of these runs and cautions develop. Right now, lots of folks not happy with Piero in the chat. They are voicing their displeasure. Of course, I would imagine that displeasure might grow just a little bit if he wins this Freedom 100 and takes home that cash. Now, Chris, one thing I do want to mention, and I don't know if this rule applies, but it was a strongly worded message in the chat that if you were to wreck someone for the win, that could be a disqualification. I don't know where that is literally just what I read. I don't know what the race director is kind of thinking right now. I have no insight into that. I just know that people are not happy with Piero, and there is a rule against striking for the win, but we haven't seen the race for the win yet. Right now, we're getting ready to see if we can't get the 2-lap shootout underway. The flagman gets us going. Piero, Shucker, O'Hara, Mazer. They come down the front straightaway into turn 1 with Matt Pleben back in 5th position. Down into turn 1, still single file. Everyone looks to have got a clean restart, at least through the top 10. The first car to duck a nose out. Ben Neal looks for the 5th position under Matt Pleben. Move the number 44 up to 5th position. Dylan Chappelle going to be right with him.
Yeah, this restart right here, much closer together. Don't see that big separation between the cars. Right now we're side by side for the 4th position. That's Sean O'Hara. Actually, no, excuse me. That's Benjamin Mazer and Ben Neal side by side for the 4th position. Can Sean O'Hara do anything with that number 2 machine in front of him? Zachary Shucker, who's looking at Steven Piero coming to the white flag.
White flag is out. This race will be official. Steven Piero's got a big mirror full of Zachary Shucker, who looks to the outside. Sean O'Hara might be the kingmaker on this. Who will he choose as they work their way through turn 1, down into turn 2? Benjamin Mazer looks to the inside. It's going to be a 3-wide battle as they come down the backstretch.
Down to the very bottom right here, Steven Piero doing everything he can to protect the inside. We're 3 wide for the win of the Freedom 100.
Piero on the inside, O'Hara in the middle, Shucker on the outside, carnage behind them. It's still 6 cars in the running. Piero, Boy O'Hara out as well as Mazer. It's going to be 3 cars. Here comes Dylan Chappelle to the inside. Will he have the run off of the corner? Will he wreck Piero? Side by side, he's into the wall. It's going to be so close, but Piero wins the Freedom 100 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway as carnage breaks out behind him. Piero crosses the line first, Zachary Shuker second, and Dylan Chappelle out of nowhere brings it home on the podium in 3rd position. My goodness, that was a race to the line, folks.
It really was. With the racing that we saw tonight, Ellis, I can't say that I'm surprised at all by the finish. We knew it was going to be spectacular, and it definitely delivered right here. I feel like, Ellis, Dylan Chappelle came out of nowhere in the closing stages of this thing, and he had a chance to win it. I don't feel like we talked about him at all for most of the night tonight, and there he was right there with a chance to win at the end of it.
He was there when it mattered, and boy, let's take a look at this replay one last time and check out all the crashes that happened on the way to it.
Yeah, Sean O'Hara had that car in the middle right there. He had a really good shot into turn 3. This is Dylan Chappelle to the inside of Zachary Shucker looking underneath right here. Look at this run that he's got on Piero, and Piero's going to put a little bit of a block on him right there. They get together. Ellis, I think if they didn't get together, I think that Chappelle was going to make that very interesting at the line right there between the 16 and the 29.
I think the momentum was certainly on the side of Chappelle, but he's going to come up in 3rd. Of course, Zachary Shucker 2nd, and Steven Piero is going to be given the win here. We're waiting for confirmation from race control that the results are official before we pull those drivers into the chat. Now, we do have some business to take care of in terms of who is going to get that Alex Palou diecast that we were talking about in the chat. Someone who came in clutch and really picked up that chat participation, Chris, as the race went on. Kyle Peters. Kyle Peters, you are the winner of the Alex Palou diecast. Email us at ssracingleagues@gmail.com. I will throw that up in the chat for you, and we will send you that Alex Palou diecast absolutely free of charge. We're going to put that email in the chat right now so you can claim your prize. That's ssracingleagues@gmail.com. It's in the chat right now, making sure I entered it correctly. And claim your prize. We appreciate Kyle as well as everyone else who was in the chat. We had a packed chat tonight over the course of these 100 miles, of course, in the Freedom 100. We are making sure we've got all of our drivers in the top 3 available for interview. We're going to try to get Dylan Chappelle first to see if we can bring him into the chat. Chris, do you see him in here at all? I'm looking to see if I see Dylan.
I do not see him. I'm going to see if I can put a message for maybe top 3 drivers to report to the waiting room.
Yeah, we'll do that. And as we watch some of the B-roll footage from what was an absolute thriller of a race, folks, while we're waiting to catch up with the top 3, let's go ahead, take a look at the results in the running order as they broke down tonight. On your pole, it was Chase McGuire, of course, had a strong run. Settles for 6th place. Not the money spot, but certainly a respectable outcome tonight for the pole winner, Chase McGuire. Steven Piero, of course, first. Zachary Shucker second. Dylan Chappelle with the momentum at the end finishes 3rd. Nate Doherty in that number 22, another name that we didn't hear about till the end of the race, up 23 spots on the evening, finishes in the 4th spot. Matt Pleben kind of up there fighting all night the second half of the race, up 32 spots after starting 37th, one of your biggest movers. He's up to 5th at the end. Of course, we mentioned Chase McGuire in that 32, brings it home 6th. Corbin Balky, I know we had some Balky fans in the chat. That number 10 machine brings it home 7th tonight. We'll go ahead. Also, Benjamin Mazer. Chris, that heart rate got up to almost 140 at the end of that race. He brings it home 8th. With Tyler Brynock 9th. And Nathan Lehman, a former winner of this race, finishes 10th in that number 40 machine.
Yeah, we'll move on right here to the rest of finishing positions right here. Sean O'Hara is going to bring it home in the 11th position. He's a driver that is familiar, maybe behind the mic here on Slingshot TV. So it was great to see Sean out here tonight. Finishing in the 12th spot is Cole Snyder in the number 30. Ben Neal. I feel like he was making a nice charge right there at the end of the race. He'll finish a little bit further back than what he was running before that, finishing in 13th. Chris Nash, one of our transfer drivers, he's going to finish in 14th. Jerem O'Shea will finish in the 15th position. Steve Vest, a driver, our teammate Ellis, is going to finish in the 16th position.
Bad.
Yeah, great run right there for Steve. Braden Mayfield finishing in 17th. Chance Popjecki will finish in the 18th position in the 21. Zachary Meredith, one of the defending champions of this race, will finish in 19th. And Luke Berkeley will round out the top 20.
21st was Justin Wills, so fast early on in the race. Finishes 21st. Mario Jacob Ellis finishes 22nd, the number 24 machine. Matt Franson. A lot of these drivers, Chris, had trouble late on or early on in the race. Matt Franson finishes 23rd. Alex Edmond, 24th in that number 81 machine. And maybe, Chris, the heartbreak of the night. Brian Simpson in that number 46, leading with just 2 laps to go when him and the winner got together down the back straightaway. Going to have to settle for 25th for Simpson. John Balin finishes 26th in that 47. Of course, Jacob Bradley also fast early on. He's going to have to settle for 27th tonight, that number 50 machine. Billy Friedel in the 28th position in that number 17 car with Kiffin Simpson. Real-life IndyCar driver Ganassi finishes 29th in that number 5 machine, but he was up there for much of the evening, Chris. Thomas Jones finishes 30th in that 41 machine.
Yeah, looking at 31st position, Victor Higgins going to finish there in that 19 car. Ryan DeLusso, another defending champion of this race of the Freedom 100, going to finish in the 32nd position. Nash M. Fry is going to bring it home in 33rd. Daniel Kane going to finish right there in that number 28 machine. That's a good number, finishing in 34th, unfortunately, though. Colin Hendershot will finish in the 35th position. Max Garcia. Hey, we talked about Max a lot early on in this race. He had a lot of speed in the 54. Ernie Francis Jr., also a driver who showed a lot of speed. Trans Am champion in real life. He'll have to settle for 37th tonight. Ricky Wall, unfortunately, had a very, very difficult encounter with the wall. He's going to finish 38th. Aaron Smith going to finish in 39th after some misfortune. And C.J. Harden will round out the top 40.
And Ernie Francis ran the fastest lap of the race, a heater at 45.46. Very, very impressive. Going through the rest of the field, of course, Alex Palou finished 41st, led so much of the early going. Of course, we gave away one of those Alex Palou diecasts just a little bit ago in the chat. Finishes 41st, but entertaining to watch. Hunter McElroy, 42nd, also up there early on, Chris. Not going to be happy with that 20th position. Peter Drummond, 43rd. Broderick Larson finishes 44th. Austin Pitt, 45th. And just, again, looking through all the drivers who attempted to qualify for this race, but not all of them made it. So, great race. And, hey, Max Brown says those 26 cautions were exhilarating. Max, there were only 8 cautions. There were 8 cautions with these NXT cars at Indy. Pretty respectable. There were certainly more than 5 green flag laps. You must not tune in to the whole thing or run the whole thing. So great racing here for the Turn 2 Racing League in the Freedom 100. I believe we have caught up with several of our podium finishers. I believe we're going to catch up with Dylan Chappelle after a 3rd place finish. Let's see. Oh, you know what, Chris? We might have an issue of not being able to move him into the room.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll have to see if maybe we can. Let me see.
Message.
Yeah.
Message them real quick while you fill us for 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, we definitely have 2 drivers that we can talk to. Hopefully, Stephen Piero, our winner, will make his way to the waiting room. But we do have Dylan Chappelle waiting to receive word, and he's one of those drivers that. He's one of those drivers that, and we're going to see maybe if we can get him. Oh, we have Ben right there for just a second. Yeah, he came charged up there at the very end, Ellis, and made one heck of a finish. Thought he had a shot to win that thing in the number 29, but unfortunately did not get the run to the end after some contact with Stephen Piero. Trying to see if we can move him into the
I think they're working on it. I'm about as terrible with Discord as a 2-year-old. and rocket science. So hopefully Ben is a little bit better at this than I am. We're going to work on getting Dylan into the broadcast booth here. But folks, before we get those interviews out to you, maybe you're able to pull them in here. Not yet. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. We've had a lot of folks figure us out tonight for the first time. We appreciate you joining us. We got stock car racing most nights of the week. A little bit change of a pace tonight for the start of the month of May, but you can catch Slingshot Racing League and the Road and Plate Truck Series on the channel 3 times a week. We should be good now. Let's see. Chris, do you have the ability to move them over?
I do not.
All right, we're gonna. Not yet. I'm gonna tell them.
Yeah, we can move down there and talk to.
All right, back here, trackside, we have caught up with third-place finisher Dylan Chappelle. Dylan, congrats on the third-place finishes. This is Slingshot TV booth. You got a copy, sir.
What's up, man? And
man,
it's Chapel, by the way, but that's okay.
Oh, God, you know, that was usually hey, I wish I had known earlier, but either way, we're glad to interview you and get that correction for sure. You were absolutely flying the past couple of laps, and we felt a little bad because you kind of came out of nowhere, snuck up on us there at the end, and you had a lot of momentum. Walk us through kind of what it took to get up to third place over the course of the night. No easy feat with just how crazy these 40 laps were.
I tell you what, man, you didn't see me because I got in like the first wreck. It was a lap down the entire race. So I got my lap back when the Green-White-Checkered first one come out. I took tires and restarted like 10th or something. And I think the tires helped a lot. And yeah, I thought I had it at the end, and I screwed up because I don't do open wheeled or nothing. I tried to side draft like I'm in Talladega or something, and hit him, and I think it cost me. I think I'll probably win if I don't door him right there. But it was fun, man. The wrecks were crazy. Had people launching over top of me like a jet plane and all kind of stuff.
Hey, man, what was it like to race some of the real-life IndyCar racers out there over the course of those 40 laps?
Awesome. When we was in practice, I was drafting with Alex Palou, and I was like, is that Alex Palou? And they're like, yeah, that's the real one. Oh, that was really cool.
Yeah, man, it was awesome to see him out there. It was awesome to see you out there working your way up towards the front. Man, congrats on that third-place finish. What are you got any shout-outs before we let you go celebrate for the folks watching at home?
Oh, man, thank you guys for broadcasting, and Ben and everybody for putting the race on every year. It's the only time I really run an open-wheel car. All my buddies that race with me, yeah.
Great, man. Well, we will let you go celebrate that third-place finish, and that's Dylan Chappell, third-place finisher tonight here in the Freedom 100 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Chris, I believe you caught up with our second-place finisher, Zachary Shucker.
Yeah, Zachary Shucker, second-place finisher. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I feel like in that second half of the race right there, we were calling your name a lot. You were one of those household guys up there, dicing it up right there for the lead, for the win, top 5 right there. Was it as chaotic from your seat as it looked right here from the broadcast booth?
Probably more at times. I was definitely in a couple spots I didn't want to be in. That wreck on the front straightaway on that one restart, that one scared me. And then whenever the leader wrecked there with a couple laps to go, I got a little bit of damage from that. It knocked the toe out and bent the wing a little bit. Definitely hurt the car, but it was still drivable. I was like, I'm not pitting. I'm here. I'm either gonna wreck or I'm going for it.
Between the stack up effect that we could see on the single file restarts coming to the green flag, we saw a lot of sort of chaos on those, and the 3-wide racing. What was the hairiest sort of action? Was it more intense on those restarts where you might get caught up in the stack up, or just the very, very close high speed 3-wide action?
I think it was more the 3-wide. Stack ups I anticipated. I mean, that's why I stayed out most of the race until I had to pit, and I thought I made a mistake doing that, to be honest, because I was afraid I was going to be behind 15, 20 cars. kind of got lucky on that one restart and got 12 spots pretty much right away. But the 3 wide, some of the late moves, and this car, it just stalls out when you pull out. Like it's max speed 204, maybe 205, and whenever the guy in front of you is already at 201, 202, and you pull out, like you can get even with them, and that's about where it ends. Definitely was a side draft effect if you could use it right, but you had to trust the person next to you, and most of the time I didn't know who was next to me, so I didn't really trust them.
Well, hey man, you put on one heck of a show and definitely made it entertaining there in the closing laps. It was a pleasure to watch. And before we let you go celebrate this second place finish tonight, we'll hand the floor over to you if you got any shout outs for anybody maybe watching at home.
Yeah, I don't know if my mom and dad tuned in. I think they were going to. And then I, very much appreciate Ben putting this on every year. It's 2 years in a row I've been the bridesmaid, so that's frustrating. But and then I appreciate Slingshot TV for coming in and putting the broadcast on. I'll have to go back and watch it whenever I'm winding down for the night later. So thank you guys.
Well, hey, man, thank you for putting on a great show. And, man, it was awesome to watch you out here. And we'll let you go on that note and celebrate your second place finish, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so you heard from your top 3 finishers, all but Steven Piero, the winner tonight. Unfortunately, we were not able to catch up with Steven. I'm sure he's going to enjoy that $450 grand prize that he took home for picking up the win in that number 16 machine tonight. Chris, Johnny, boy, I feel like I'm just starting to catch my breath. What's your major takeaway, guys, from what we saw tonight in our first time broadcasting this Freedom 100? I don't know about y'all, but I'm hoping it's not our last.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It was entertaining, definitely. It was chaos. It was chaotic, but highly entertaining. I loved, just the drivers sending it and willing to put it all on the line tonight. It definitely made for one heck of an entertaining race, and one driver's walking away with a lot of money. But I commend all the drivers, man, for committing to the effort tonight and being willing to put it all on the line. It was. I had a feeling that we would see some of that very, very intense close pack racing, and man, these drivers did not disappoint tonight.
Johnny, are you still alive after all that action?
Yeah, I'm here, and I'll tell you what a perfect way to start off the month of May, get everything rolling here, and man, it was cool to see some big names in here, and just everybody getting to mix it up together. I know it was a little chaotic, but it made for an entertaining show.
It was definitely an entertaining show. Of course, we do entertaining, or I think they're entertaining shows. Several other times during the week, we broadcast Slingshot Racing League as well as the Road and Plate Truck Series on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, folks. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure to do so now so you can get in on that action. We do giveaways on a regular basis, and like that Alex Pillow diecast we gave away tonight. And like you were saying, Johnny, and like almost everyone else we heard say, this race got me excited for Memorial Day weekend, and of course the Indianapolis 500. And I can't think of a better way to send it out tonight than the same way we brought it in, with that singing of Back Home Again in Indiana. Folks, for Slingshot TV, I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Johnny Rapp. So long from Indianapolis, folks.
Fans, it's once again time for the traditional singing of Back Home Again in Indiana. And once again, it is my privilege to introduce to you Mr. Jim Neighbors. Back home again in Indiana, and it seems the gleaming candlelight, still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new moon hay sends all its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
As the traditional balloons, thank you, young neighbors. We